This video, we're going to be talking about exporting flows. Flows in Noca AI are designed to be flexible and portable, whether you are moving flows across environments, between accounts, or backing them up externally. The export feature makes it seamless. Where to export from? Another one option is to go to Flows, My Flows, and then you have an option to click on the kebab menu, which will allow you to click on Export, bringing the export wizard. The other way of doing this is to go directly into the flow itself, click on the header menu, and then click Export. Both paths open a multi-step export wizard. In the first step of the wizard, you will need to select one of the following options. My account. Export a flow between environments within your own account. Accounts I have permission. Export a flow to another Noca AI account you have access to. External account with key. Export a flow to an external account using a share key. And then finally, download. Download a .noc file off the flow to your device, which can later be uploaded. Exporting to My Account. Select Export Action My Account, then go ahead and click Next. At this point, you'll be asked to choose the environment you want to export the flow to. In this case, I will select Staging. Notice that the dropdown will not include the environment you are currently in for obvious reasons. Now, when I click Next, it will ask me for map connections. This is an optional step. This is where you get to see the list of app services used in a flow. For each, you'll see app logo and name, current connection in the source environment. Select the corresponding connections available in the destination environment. Like I said, this is completely optional. If you don't choose connections now, the recipient will need to consider them manually later. Now we look at policies. And again, this is an optional step. If your environment uses policies that restrict certain flow behaviors or integration, they will be listed here. You can choose to export them along with the flow by checking the relevant checkboxes, which in this case, this is a 1, and these are the details of that policy. And you can then go ahead and export. Now, one final step here is the auto go live. Once the export operation is completed, if this is enabled, the flow will automatically go live. For me, I am going to go ahead and uncheck that and click export. Now the operation is completed. Are you re-exporting the same flow? So let's say we are going to go ahead and re-export this flow again to staging. You can now see that we have an option. It says, if the flow already exists in the destination environment, do you want to create a new flow in staging, or do you simply want to update it? If this is enabled, it will create a new flow. We don't recommend that. We recommend that you simply go ahead and update the existing flow and overwrite what you have there at the moment. According to accounts that I have permission to. So when I select this option, straight away, I will have access to all the accounts I have permission. In this case, I only have one, admin Noca AI. And when I select that, I select the environments, which I also have access to based on the account. Now, once the target environment has been selected, I can go ahead and click Next. Now we'll see the list of apps and services used in the flow. You can then choose the corresponding connection. This step is optional. If left blank, the recipient will need to configure these connections after the flow is imported. And then we have policies. Same as the previous action, you can choose which policies to export along the flow. You can also view details to understand more details about that particular policy. And then when you click Next, you can then decide if you want to go auto go live. If this is enabled, the flow will be live the moment it's exported. If not, it will be switched off by default. Go ahead and click export. And now the export is completed and data is now ready for use. If this particular flow already existed in the account before, then you will have the option to to create a flow as new or overwrite the existing one, allowing you to overwrite or duplicate the flow itself. That's what this functionality does. The next option we'll look at is exporting to external account with key. This method allows you to send a flow to an account without having to have direct access to it, using a unique export access key. How to get the key? To get the key, go to Security and Credentials, and then click on Export Access. Copy the provided key and share it with you securely. Now, the export action looks like this. You choose your external account with key, click Next, enter your key, and then click Validate. Once the key is verified, you'll see a confirmation message under the field like this. The flow will export to account admin.noca.ai, environment production. When you click Next, we move on to the connections. And again, this step is completely optional. You may go ahead and do this later on. So if I skip this step, we move on to export policies. If the current environment has policies, you can choose to include to support them. You can also view details, and then you click Next. And like I said before, you can decide if you want to also go live or simply export. And now this operation is exported. Final option we'll focus on is download. And this option allows you to download a copy of your flow, a .NOT file, to your device. So you can go ahead and choose download. Once you click this, the file will now be downloaded. The flow will immediately download it as a file to your computer. No additional steps are needed. You can later upload this .NOT file into any Noca AI account using the upload flow option in the header of My Flow page.